Hey, what's happening everybody? This is Guillermo from ScreenRealm.com. This is going to be my first attempt at, that was a lie. Straight off the bat, I've just lied to your face. I've tried to make YouTube videos before. I've actually published some of my own before. I even had like a personal podcast. And also, my wife and I, Cassandra, we have a separate podcast that you can check out. It's called Loud Observers. But this is going to be my first real, I'm going to say real attempt because this is it for me. I'm going to say I'm doing it and I'm hopefully gonna keep going. For those of you who don't know, ScreenRealm.com is an entertainment website covering all things film and television, reviews, news, trailers. We're based out of Sydney, Australia. We've been going for a number of years now. Strong following online, not so much a strong following on the video YouTube side, which is why this mug is gonna start popping up. I'm gonna be just covering movie news, trailer reactions, reviews, that kind of stuff. We'll see how it goes. This will be it. This will be the face, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. This is my little den in the home office. We're in Sydney lockdown right now, which is exciting and oh so awesome. Now, it's still early days for me on YouTube for Screen Realm. Like I said, Cassandra and I do have Loud Observers. I promise I'll stop plugging that. That's a lie. I'm going to plug that more. Stick with us as we iron out everything. So welcome ScreenRealm.com. To all my friends out there, you're probably the first ones that are going to be seeing this, obviously. How's it going? One good thing about lockdown is we don't have to see each other, so that's pretty good. Let's kick off with one of the big news stories that's coming out of Hollywood. That's Scarlett Johansson suing Disney. The Black Widow star is suing Disney for, does it even say how much? So this is, by the way, this is how I'm going to be doing it. Now I'm going to be checking out what this news story was. I'm going to be checking out what we wrote on the site, if we wrote something on the site. And we're just going to be back and forthing it. You and me, man. Just you and me. Scarlett Johansson is taking legal action. It's for undisclosed damages, okay? So we don't really know exactly the amount that she's suing for. But the damages, they're estimating that she's looking at around $50 million that she could have made, but didn't because Disney decided to release Black Widow in both cinemas and Disney Plus. So simultaneously released cinemas and streaming service, which Johansson's lawsuit alleges was primarily to boost Disney's streaming service numbers and ramp up the stock pricing. The Wall Street Journal first reported on this lawsuit. Since then, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, a lot of news outlets have covered it. So feel free to go check them all out if you want, or you could also go to ScreenRealm.com, where we have an article there as well. Basically, the suit reads, word for word, Disney intentionally induced Marvel's breach of the agreement without justification in order to prevent Miss Johansson from realizing the full benefit of her bargain with Marvel. Now, what is that bargain? That bargain essentially would have given her a back-end profit that would largely have come from the box office receipts. Now, without a full-blown cinema release, box office receipts will be limited, but then again, Disney did release the film on Disney Plus because not every cinema is open, so there wasn't that, I guess, that wide net that they could just throw the film into. It's a weird time right now. But the deal that Johansson made with Marvel in the lawsuit, it says, extracted a promise from Marvel that the release would be exclusively theatrical, specifically a wide release of no less than 1,500 screens, and a plan to remain exclusively in movie theaters for a period of between 90 and 120 days. Obviously that didn't happen, so Johansson's lawsuit also claims that when Disney made this new plan, she and her team decided to renegotiate, but they were unresponsive. Now, this lawsuit also gets pretty personal from Johansson's end at first because she actually names particular Disney executives, such as Disney CEO Bob Chapek, and he's awarded equity grants which allegedly total 3.8 times his $2.5 million base salary in 2021. And that came with the primary justification of launching Disney's direct-to-consumer services. Disney executive chairman Bob Iger is also named for allegedly having the overwhelming majority of his $16.5 million compensation coming in stock grants, which points to the Disney Plus success the company reported in their annual report. The lawsuit makes it pretty clear what they're trying to say, and I quote, "In short, the message to and from Disney's top management was clear. Increase Disney Plus subscribers, never mind your contractual promises, and you'll be rewarded." So them be fighting words, but Disney has shot back. They're not too happy with what Johansson's doing. They've also gotten a little personal. They've also released some of their own numbers as Johansson's lawsuit named some of their salaries. They decided to share that Johansson earned $20 million from Black Widow. Now they said, and I quote, "There was no merit whatsoever to this filing. The lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic." They're pretty much saying, Man, Scarlett doesn't even care about the pandemic. On top of that, they say, and I quote, Disney has fully complied with Ms. Johansson's contract, and furthermore, the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she has received to date. Both sides not too happy, and it's starting to escalate now, because what happens during these times, everything starts getting very political. So it's not just a matter of Scarlett Johansson versus Disney's money wise. It's become a gender social issue. Women in Film, Reframe, and Time's Up, those three organizations have jumped on this thing as well. In a joint statement, the organizations basically called out Disney's statement, calling it a gender attack. And I quote, "This gendered character attack has no place in a business dispute and contributes to an environment in which women and girls are perceived as less able than men to protect their own interests without facing ad hominem criticism." Now, those organizations have said that they're not talking about the business issues in the litigation, and instead that they're talking about the pandemic issue that they brought up against Johansson and her salary. They also said, and I quote, "We stand firmly against Disney's recent statement, which attempts to characterize Johansson as insensitive or selfish for defending her contractual business rights." So this thing is starting to snowball. Looks like the social powers that be have already jumped on it and are deciding what this is really about. But then again, what do I know? Maybe I shouldn't have even mentioned anything about that, and that'll get the Screen Realm cancelled as well. Alright, what a great start. But this Scarlett Johansson Disney lawsuit thing is also starting to potentially expand into other actors and their legal issues with Disney. Emma Stone is reportedly, from the Hollywood Reporter, editor Matthew Belloni reports that Emma Stone is said to be weighing her options because Emma Stone's film Cruella was also released simultaneously in cinemas and Disney Plus, while Emily Blunt is likely watching the Jungle Cruise numbers closely this weekend because of the same kind of release strategy. The Hollywood Reporter editor writes the floodgates might be opening. So we'll see what happens here. For the commoners of us, it looks a bit weird when you're looking at Disney, how much they earn, how much these celebrities earn, how much they can potentially bring them, how much they should be earning according to in a comparative way with their co-stars. Because when some of us are earning breadcrumbs per hour, this can look a bit, I don't know, questionable. But this case has the potential to really change a lot of things in Hollywood. Who knows what's going to happen here? Nothing could end up happening here. I mean, sometimes all it takes is Disney just paying off on the side, and things could be settled outside of court, and we'll never know what she ended up getting. We'll end up seeing what Johansson and potentially Emma Stone, Emily Blunt, we'll see what ends up happening with these cases. It's kind of an awkward situation. These studios have got to release these films somehow, and they've got to release it to as many eyes as possible, and in a way that they can make a lot of money. Streaming services are popping up, and Disney Plus is becoming a major player in the streaming circles. I mean, I think ultimately this comes down to Disney should have approached Scarlett Johansson with another offer. They should have renegotiated if the actual original plan was going to change. That just feels like the right thing to do. It feels like that's what they didn't do, and now everyone's pissed off. I mean, that's what it looks like. But this has the potential to change a lot of things. Potentially could end up in nothing. But that's it for me, guys. Thanks for listening, watching. That's the first story that I decided to cover for Screen Realm video. I hope you guys comment. I hope you guys subscribe. I hope you guys like, all that kind of jazz. And be sure to also check out Loud Observers with my wife and I. I'll put a link below, I think. Hopefully I remember to do that. Actually, I'll watch this back and just anyway. Oh, and I'm also on a screen-focused podcast called Good Movie Monday. Have their mug right there, Glenn. Thanks for sending that through, man. I got it. Good Movie Monday. Go check them out everywhere you get podcasts. They're on YouTube as well. I have a segment on that podcast every week where I basically cover for a couple of minutes something or a few stories that's occurred on Screen Realm, like I'm going to be doing here on video, similar kind of thing. Yeah, check out Good Movie Monday, Loud Observers, subscribe. Man, I probably shouldn't be doing a whole bunch of to-do things for you guys in the first video. Don't do any of it. Cheers. Bye.